The solar industry went crazy, and then I believe that was a really wet year, and on my phone was ringing off the hook with people with solar systems, and all they said, my solar system's leaking and I can't get a hold of my solar contractor, he's out of business. And so I'm like, geez, I guess I had been using a subcontractor to help me with this, because it was only a one-off here and there, but it went crazy that year. So I'm like, well, you know what, I got to get in this.
So you said you're about 50 employees now?
Yeah, that's correct.
And where are you at geographically? What does your scope look like, or your reach look like geographically?
Yeah, our corporate offices are in Simi Valley. We work from Santa Barbara all the way through Ventura County, all the way out to Beverly Hills, Santa Monica, and then inland as far as Santa Clarita.
And is it still mainly just residential re-roofs and?
Yeah, yeah, residential re-roofs and solar. Yeah, and we do custom homes, but only the higher end builders that really appreciate and value service, right? They have discerning clients that need things to happen, and so they're willing to say, okay, we're willing to pay more so that we have the kind of service that we need. And then the solar has been a great add-on. We added that on in about 2015, and that was actually driven more out of because the solar industry went crazy, and we were slapping solar on any kind of roof, whether it needed to be re-roofed or not. And then I believe that was a really wet year, and on my phone was ringing off the hook with people with solar systems, and all they said, my solar system's leaking and I can't get a hold of my solar contractor, he's out of business. And so I'm like, geez, I guess I had been using a subcontractor to help me with this, because it was only a one-off here and there, but it went crazy that year. So I'm like, well, you know what, I got to get in this, because my motto is we really don't subcontract anything out. Like 1% of our revenue is subcontracted out. Other than that, we do it ourselves. I'm also a licensed B contractor, so that's how we can do the solar and the roofing together. So that's how we got in there. So it's kind of funny, and then it's now progressed to our solar has almost doubled. We'll double this year, and that's all new installs. And we're actually finally getting some solar only installs. For the most part, people only would do whenever I got a solar, it was because I sold them a roof. Kind of went that package. So
And I have to imagine it works the other way too, right? I mean, when somebody wants solar and you climb up on the roof and go, hey, it's about time.
oh yeah, well, that's what I think the industry or the marketplace, let me put it that way, the marketplace has learned that if I'm going to put solar on my roof, now's the time to do my roof, not later, because they get some get mad at me when I tell them it's going to cost them $8,000 to $10,000 to take the system off and reinstall it properly, flash and attach to the roof. They're like, well, that's half of what I paid. And I'm like, well, we just had a customer that we proposed, his roof was like 15 years old, it's in decent shape, but he's going to put a 25-year solar system on there. His roof, 5-7 years, it wasn't a high end shingle roof, and he got a little testy because he had a contractor behind me come in and say, hey, you don't need to replace that. And I'm like, well, I'm just trying to give you the best value going forward. And his roof wasn't that expensive. I go, you're going to pay half of this for me to take the solar off in 5 to 7 years, or you can just do it all now, and you have a 25-year system. It's all in the same, integrated the same and have the same life cycle.
So what was it like learning the solar aspect of it, right? I mean, you had so much experience from a roofing aspect, but like you said, I mean, going back to kind of how you got into it, right? I feel like a lot of guys, a lot of solar companies when they started were just the sales, and then they would just hire some random guy to put the the system on the roof, and there was no connection between the two, which I think is where the industry and that marketplace failed early on, right? And kind of gave a bad rep to that process for sure. But learning how to do it and kind of bringing that on and making sure that you can do it to the standard that you expect and that you want to provide had to be a process. So how did you go about kind of learning how to do that and adding that in?
Yeah, because that's different. You know, it was completely different, right? Because when I started roofing, my roofing, the August roofing, um, I knew everything about a roof. I knew how to put it on, right? So I could, I knew that that was done. This was completely different in the sense that now I'm running a company and I want to add a service on. So what I did was I went out and I had a friend that had been in the industry for years, and he had actually been in all phases of the solar industry. He started out installing, then he went and worked in sales, and then he went and worked for a manufacturer. So he had a really round knowledge of it. And so for me, I didn't have the time nor bandwidth running the rest of my company to understand and learn solar at the level that I wanted to make sure that we were doing the same level of solar as we were doing roofing. So you have to go out and you have to hire it. So I went out and I hired them on. And so my knowledge, I backed into it, right? I hired somebody that had the knowledge that I had on the roofing level and let him start the program up. And then that way I could learn by osmosis as time went on.
And is that guy still with you today, kind of running the solar division for you?
No, he actually retired about 3 years after he started the program, but that got us off the ground. And like I said, we're going to do, quite a bit this year.